What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. We're back again. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I'm here. This is Mike. I'm here with Menelik, Hollister, and Tyrone. And welcome back to the podcast. And we're still working on the podcast. But the YouTube channel is Sports Talk with the Fam. Check it out. We're getting subscribers every day. I really do appreciate the positive feedback and everybody, enjoying the content that we're bringing forward. Now, today's topic, we're going to touch on a little bit of stuff that's going on in the NBA. There's a lot of stuff going on with NFL, and we got a fight tonight, but we're going to just talk about the NBA because, that's something that we all pretty much love and watch, and we all kind of versed in. But, shout out. And to get it started, we're going to give a shout out to Ty Lue, which we all kind of figure he's going to get the Clippers job. So I want to get you guys' take on that. Like, how do y'all feel about Ty Lue getting the Clippers job? How do you feel he's going to impact the Clippers? Do you think it's just a whatever hire? Do you actually feel he's going to be doing his thing? Like, Hollister, what you think?
First off, let me congratulate Ty Lue on getting the head coaching position.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna do better than Doc, like connection wise with the players. Because nowadays it's more about the players having like
Yeah.
personal connections with the coaches,
Yeah.
so he can relate to them more. And I guess he getting more out of them this that way. But we gonna see what happens with that. I think it should be good. Like he get their full potential out of them. Not saying Doc couldn't do that, but I think him having a personal relationships with the players, like how he got some stuff
Yeah.
out of Kyrie, LeBron when he was in Cleveland, he should be able to do that with Kawhi and Paul George and the rest of the guys.
Okay. Menelik?
Yeah, so similar to what Hollister is saying, I do feel like he might have a better time at it than Doc had, partially because they have had some time. He was also already a part of the staff, so he knows some things. So it won't
Yeah.
be like he just coming in blind in a sense, and he might already know what he wants to tweak. And he's known for being, as Hollister said, a guy that can get stuff out of the players that players respect. He holds everyone accountable, etc., etc. The other aspect I would look at is the personalities of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are like different than like LeBron and some of the other guys he's had to
Yeah.
coach.
Mhm.
Like, Kawhi is kind of known as that guy where he leads by example. Like, he's not going to be as vocal. He's not going to be like, yeah, God, do this, do that. Like, I mean, he has his moments like that clip you had shared in the group chat before where he told somebody to pass him
Reggie
the ball
Jackson.
and all.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't pass you the ball for that crap. Or yeah.
But to a large extent, Kawhi is that player like, yo, I'm going to go out. I'm going to put that forth, that effort. You're going to see what I do. And people going to like rally around that, be inspired by that, etc. So my only concern is that, he could try to get a lot out of Kawhi, but Kawhi might just still be Kawhi and be like, all right. And then, and then as far as a Paul George, and I'm not making light of it because it's a real thing that I do respect that he came forward and talked about. But if Ty Lue like gets on him a little too much, I don't know if Paul George will respond in the way that Ty Lue might want him to respond. It might, have a reverse impact.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he could get the job done, but we'll see what happens. That was just of an aspect of it I thought about to be like a little extra what I thought as far as compared to Hollister.
Got you.
But yeah.
Tyrone?
Yeah, I kind of knew that he was going to get the job once Doc got fired. It was either him or maybe Cassell or something like that when he got fired. I kind of looked at it like a merry-go-round. He would get the job in Philly, and then Ty Lue would get that job with the Clippers. Although Van Gundy was probably talked about, but I don't think Van Gundy wanted to go out to LA. I think he wants that Houston job. I think he wants that badly. He's
Yeah.
from he not from Houston, but he lives in
Yeah.
Houston, and that was his last coaching job. So it's rare that coaches go back to a place that they coached before, but sometimes with different ownership that happens often. So he looks like he might get that job there. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, it was Ty Lue's job to get. I wasn't surprised once Doc got fired and Ty Lue didn't get a job yet. I figured he would go there. So, congrats to him, and we'll see what he does with the team. We'll see how they respond, how everybody takes on him because he's a fiery guy. There was times they said he used to even get in LeBron's face. Nobody gets in LeBron's face.
Except
So
for KG and the boys.
we're talking about coaches. Talking
Yeah,
about coaches,
yeah,
not players. But
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, just had to throw KG in there, right?
Now I'm gonna tell you why I throw KG in there when I go to my turn. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I think Kawhi steps up. Like I was saying before, everybody is giving Kawhi a hard time, which we'll probably get into more later on. But it's the others, man. It's the other guys that need that tongue lashing. So we'll see, man. But congrats to Ty Lue.
Okay. Yeah, man. I join you guys in the sentiments. Like, congratulations to Ty Lue. I like to see people of color get jobs. Also, he did a good job in a lot of all the places he's been at. I know a lot of times people like him get a bad rep because he coached LeBron and Kyrie, so they look like who's really coaching the team and et cetera and et cetera. But from the basketball circles, everybody say he knows his stuff. And to Tyron's point, I do kind of agree that it was his job to lose pretty much. I know they did do their due diligence because I think Steve Ballmer wanted to interview other candidates just to make sure that they're not going to like a Doc Rivers disciple per se. But I felt that with the Doc Rivers situation, I think Doc Rivers, not that his voice ran cold in there, it's just that he kind of felt like, you know what, it's all or nothing. Like Tyrone said in a couple of episodes back, he wasn't Steve Ballmer's guy. Steve Ballmer came in there, he was already there. He took away some of the power that Doc had. So already it was kind of like the writing was on the wall that Doc was going to be on his way out in LA. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate how it happened, but sometimes players need a new voice. And what Hollister said earlier, as well as Menelik, is that the players are more, privy now to a coach that's going to be like a person who's going to hold their hand in a sense and, be more relatable to them as far as being more current. Like, Ty Lue's in his 40s. He played in the NBA. He wasn't a star player, but he played, with some of the younger guys that these kids grew up with and know, you know what I mean? So the reason why I mentioned Kevin Garnett, though, is because Ty Lue, Kevin Garnett, Chauncey Billups, and I forgot somebody else. They are boys. When I'm talking about they are boys, they are boys. That's why Chauncey Billups is part of Ty Lue's staff in LA, giving his boy opportunity to get his coaching game up so he can be able to branch off and do his own thing. And the reason why I said that because I remember when Ty Lue first took the job in Cleveland, he wanted Kevin Garnett to be part of the team. And Kevin Garnett was like, nah, I don't want to be over there. He got beef with LeBron and everything like that. He didn't want to do that. So, he would be in his face every day in practice. But at the end of the day, I do feel he can get the most out of the guys. I do think it's like a different voice. But what Tyron said is actually the others. Kawhi, even though, and we're going to segue into this from this point, even though Kawhi might not be like the leader that everybody wants him to be, like similarly to like a Michael Jordan or similarly to preferably a LeBron James as far as like, leading the troops and galvanizing the guys like that. At the end of the day, he leads by example. He goes out there, he works hard, you know what I mean? And he puts his all out on the court. Now, I did, we all read and we all saw that the whole load management thing was rubbing some of the people the wrong way. Lou Williams came out, so that's not true. But I can imagine like people like Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, and other guys who probably look, wait, why Doc getting on us? But they letting Kawhi make up his own schedule when he could come in. Now, that's what we talked about the other day with people not knowing their roles. Like, look, you guys are not the star players. Y'all good, but Kawhi is a champion, two-time champion, and he is a star. You guys are not stars. Y'all stars in your own right, but y'all not on that level. Y'all not champions. Y'all haven't done anything. So, yes, there's going to be some times on certain teams you're going to get preferential treatment, but that shouldn't, lead you to have some type of dysfunction and not go out there and put in your work. And especially when they was bumming it in the bubble. But I wanted to get you guys' opinion on what they said. They said that the rumor came out that they looked at Kawhi as being selfish and indifferent. So, Menelik, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so it speaks to a little bit of what I was saying earlier. I think that Kawhi does have that kind of personality overall where he will come across as kind of indifferent because he cares. Well, he focuses on holding himself accountable and to a certain standard, like we said, which is his way of trying to show or rally the people around him. Like, look how hard I'm working. Look what I'm doing. I'm producing. I'm getting certain stuff done, right? But from that perspective, now you might give it your all 41 games of the season and you do really well, right? But the teammates could look at it like, yo, like I'm giving my all 82 games. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna be able to do that if you playing half the time as me. And then when you come in, you get all the shots and we don't have a certain chemistry. And then on top of that, you're not really a vocal leader and this and that. So I could see some players having an issue with it, but not really feeling comfortable saying it because of what he does when he is out there. I
Yeah,
don't think
I get
that it'll like keep them though from being able to, you know, progress or do like compete or whatever.
you. Yeah, I do agree. Hollister, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I was reading some of the same things they was alluded to, talking about some of them players were saying how he's living in San Diego and he's always late to the team flights and things of that nature. I think they trying to find somebody to point the finger to because all the teams Kawhi really been on, he really never like got like, oh, everybody blame him for this happening or that happened. He goes out there and does what he has to do, and he like everybody say they expect him to follow. Like y'all guys got a role to follow. Doc Rivers always said, you have a role, be that best player at that role, do what you got to do. He's doing what he got to do. Everybody's supposed to follow. But then too, I guess he's not vocal enough. I guess he don't hang out with some of the players, when they're on their off days or this, that, and the third. And I don't know. They probably I don't know. It's a funny situation. I don't, he Steve Ballmer could go to Kawhi. He could ask him what he want to do. He could probably say, "Look, get rid of all these guys and bring in new people." But it's gonna be real interesting. I don't think it's gonna really end too well because there's already rumors about Paul George could possibly get traded, and the rest, Montrezl Harrell, Lou Williams, and all those guys. So it's gonna be a funny situation.
Yeah, Tyrone.
Well, if if this is true, then it's ridiculous. This guy is the best player on the team, the hardest working player on the team. The one guy that I don't blame for anything. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody wants to say, "Oh, he's not." We've known this about Kawhi for about 7, 8 years now, that he's not a vocal leader. He doesn't wear his emotions on his sleeves. Why did you think he was going to be that way now? Now they lose a potential shot at a championship this year, and they blew a 3-1 lead, and everybody's pointing the finger at him for not being emotional. Why would you want this man? Why are they criticizing this man to do something that he's never done in his career? Everybody will say, okay, he had Parker, Duncan, Ginobili. Yeah, but again, he wasn't the guy that was he never was that vocal leader in San Antonio. He went to Toronto. You had fiery guys like Van Fleet and Lowry. He still wasn't that way even in Toronto. What makes you think he was going to be that way in LA? It's not the way he is. And to me, he doesn't have to be that way. I don't care.
I
If
agree.
people have a
Yeah.
problem with that, or if the Clippers problem with that, go get that kind of player. Go get that player that's vocal. Or Rajon Rondo, who just opted out of his deal with the Lakers. Or Chris Paul, who's rumored to go everywhere. Guys that's fiery like that. Russell Westbrook, although I doubt that'll happen. But if you want somebody to be a fiery leader, you're gonna have to get those guys because Kawhi Leonard is a man that goes, he brings his lunch pail, he does what he does, and he goes about his business. If you,
Yep.
who's motive? Like my question is, who's motivating Kawhi?
Himself.
Nobody. So why do you need these other players to have someone motivate them? If you're not motivated to go on that court and play the game you love, then you shouldn't be on that court. Now, don't get me wrong. They're not as good as Kawhi. Not saying that, but this whole I need a vocal leader thing? I never really got it. Now, if you can't watch him and how great he plays and how well he plays, and that doesn't motivate you, I don't know why you're even on that team. That's my opinion.
Well, I think to your point, I think what they mean by
Yeah,
I think what they mean by
I'm
the
sorry.
leader.
I'm like,
No, I hear you. I hear you out.
not to cut
Go ahead.
not to cut you off, but I get what your question was, and I get what their complaint is, but it's not him, and that's what annoys me. Like they thought Kawhi was gonna start cracking jokes and throwing and doing. You know how the guys when they score sometimes and the team calls a timeout, everybody does that run and jump bump thing.
Yeah.
Like
They jump
you're
off
not
the
gonna get
bench
that
and
from
all
him,
of
man.
that.
If you're looking for that, if you're looking for Kawhi to do those eyeball 3-point signs when when somebody hits a three, you're not getting that from him, man.
Yeah.
If you want him to do the mellow 3 fingers, you're not getting that, man. I'm sorry.
The only time that
That's all I can say, man.
Go ahead, Huston. Then I go in. Go ahead.
Y'all can go ahead, man.
The only time he really show a lot of emotions when he wins. That's how you should do it. When you win a championship, that's when you release everything.
I get it. I mean, like
that's how Mike was.
Yeah, but my thing is this. But you see, Mike also, even though like you saw in the last dance how he like got the guys and people felt like he was like being on them, but he was like, look, I never got anybody to do anything or made anybody do anything that I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And also, Mike made them battle tested, so when they get out there, they can't be like, oh, I didn't experience it. I got nice from the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? But with the Kawhi thing, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of times people find excuses into why other people are not doing anything. Not good. It's always good to have a leader, because sometimes with a leader can, like, when things are getting tough and people are looking all dismantled, disarrayed and all crazy, that person can come and say, all right, guys, let's take it easy. Let's follow my lead. I'm going to try to do this. And let's like emotionally try to galvanize the guys to stay focused and keep them on the path, right? The issue is that Kawhi, because of his personality, you know what I mean? He could be an introvert, you know what I mean? Who knows? He used to be one of those quiet guys. He is like, you know what? I keep to myself. I do my work, but you guys are responsible for yourself. And at the end of the day, that is true. So for me, my issue that I have is when the other players get mad at a player doing their thing. Now, granted, if Kawhi, we don't know how it is behind closed doors. We don't know if Kawhi coming in there like, yo, I want all green M&Ms in my locker. I don't want any other color in there, or else I'm not playing tonight. I'm a low manage tonight. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he doing stuff like that, or he wilding and doing some other dumb stuff, then that's different. But for him to say, like, you know what, I need to low manage because of my injuries. I want to be fresh. I need to do this, or blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? I don't know why they're getting tight. Now, if the coach like, all right, everybody shut up. Kawhi's here. Hey, Kawhi, how are you doing, Kawhi? Oh, nice to meet you, Kawhi. Let me rub your feet, Kawhi. And everybody else is, he treating everybody like dirt. Then I can understand the players being tight. But at the end of the day, when he played in this bubble, he put in that work. The man carried them single-handedly through the Dallas series. You know what I'm saying? He carried the team. They was exhausted. And to me, when people like Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell get a pass because his grandmother died, so that's different. Lou Williams.
Yeah, he was never in shape.
Paul George, to a certain extent, besides the mental health thing. Like, like
way off
all guys, Patrick Beverly's, all them cats, talking about Cancun and playing around and all that stuff like that. They are responsible for themselves. They were too focused and thinking that we got Kawhi now, we're going to win the championship automatically. They lost focus and they lost their objective. The reason why I give LeBron a lot of credit in that regard is because LeBron knew, like, look, and it could be a selfish reasoning too. Look, I need to win this thing, get this monkey off my back, winning this thing with Lakers. I'm chasing Jordan. I can care less about you other cats like that, but y'all got to do this. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to be on board and on page with me, because I'm not blowing this for nobody. Because at the end of the day, if LeBron was to lose and everybody else is playing like bums, they're going to blame everybody else. They're not going to blame LeBron. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. To me, I feel that they will get it together. I don't really look at the goal, like, I'm not saying Gold State, like the Clippers as being like, oh, this is what fixes them. I think it's all within their hearts. Like, they have to be like, yo, something got to be triggered in them to be like, yo, we got embarrassed. We blew a 3-1 lead. Everybody made jokes about us. They have to come out like with a chip on their shoulder next season to really erase what happened in this bubble. Now, in regards to the Paul George thing, I think it's a possibility he might get moved. You know what I'm saying? Because they brought him over there specifically to be Kawhi's running mate. He thought of himself higher than what he is, and no disrespect to Paul George, he's a top player in the game, but he's not like a top 10 guy per se. And when they needed him most, The man wide open shot hit the side of the backboard like he never played basketball at all. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when it comes to that, and the way they said, like when he was trying to talk to the guys, like, hey guys, like, let's go back home, but let's meet up with each other and let's work out. They was like, nah, man, flip you. I'm doing mine. I'm doing me. I'm getting me some wings. I'm going back home. I'm doing whatever. So for them to do that to him, you know what I mean? It's going to be something interesting next season for that team. But switching gears, talk about teams and stuff like that. Everybody said that the Clippers essentially need a point guard. They need a guy to like be not only their emotional leader, but their floor general. They have, Pat Bev, and they're saying that, Kawhi was saying, we need a point guard because, they like Pat Beverly, for defense and stuff, but he hurt and he's not really a scoring guard. So at the end of the day, he don't really do anything. So they're looking into Rondo and possibly Chris Paul coming back. Now, I think Chris Paul will be a better fit for them because I think Chris Paul, with his, personality and his leadership style, I think he'll be able to keep everybody in check, and also he can score. Rondo will be ideal, but Rondo's not really a scoring point guard, but he will be able to help set up everybody else. So you got to pick your poison, which one. And I doubt he want to go leave Los Angeles Lakers to go play for the Clippers. So we'll see. But what do you guys take on that, Tyrone?
Hey, listen. The Lakers don't have they're capped right now. You got to remember they got to pay AD, and Caldwell Pope just opted out. These guys ain't taking no discounts. Yes, they won the championship, but that don't mean that that doesn't mean that they're gonna take a discount. They want their money. Yeah. So if a team comes there, what they saw from them in the playoffs, because Caldwell Pope had a great finals. So a team might sit there and say, "Whoa, I like this kid." They could try to re-sign him because Danny Green ain't going nowhere. He's signed. So and you got some guys on rookie deals like Caruso and some of the other guys that they have. But, LeBron has his max deal. AD's there. Kuzma's still on a rookie deal. Can't remember who else they have. That like even Dwight's going to get paid. Like even though he didn't do a lot, somebody's going to give him a 1 or 2 year deal for more than what he got in LA.
Yeah,
a lot of these guys are going
to. I mean, they need a big man.
Golden State wanted Golden State and the Clippers were trying to get Dwight before the Lakers got him.
Yep.
And had Boogie Cousins not tore his ACL last summer, Dwight never would have even been there.
Yeah.
So you never know how things go because of injuries. But back to the Chris Paul thing. I honestly think that Rondo would be the better fit. And for one, he's younger and he's cheaper. And I think the Clippers don't have an issue with scoring. Their issue was defense and playmaking. And yes, Chris Paul does all of those. He can play defense. He can play make and can score. But he's older and more expensive. And I think that and they'll have to get him via trade. Like, what are you trading? They don't really have nothing to trade, honestly. So I don't think that'll work out. Rondo, you could just pick him up. You could give him a 1 year deal, give him like nice little 1 year deal, and Rondo will distribute the ball, make sure Kawhi and PG and Lou Williams and them get their shots off in the spots they want them. I think if Rondo went there, he has a chance to actually lead the league in assists, if you ask me, with all that talent around there. But we'll see. But I think, in my opinion, Rondo was the better fit.
Yeah, I agree. Mentally?
Yeah, to follow up on what both of you said. So, player for player and their impact on the court, I think Chris Paul would be a slightly better fit because he does have a strong voice and he's shown that he can be that kind of floor general and leader to kind of get the troops in line, so to speak. Yeah. And I think he would definitely help Paul George on that team if he's still there. But from an organization standpoint, from an organization standpoint, to what Tyron was speaking to, it would be way harder to pull off, and they might have to give up some of their other pieces to realistically get him.
Yeah.
Whereas in a case like Rondo, who wouldn't be a far behind choice for that team, it will probably be an easier pickup for them. I don't know that Rondo will want to leave LA. The Lakers will still be LA, but
You just go down
but
the
you
hall.
never know. So yeah, on that regard, I think overall on the court and for the team, Chris Paul would be the better choice, organization wise, and more likely to potentially happen. I would say
Yeah.
Rondo, but I don't think they could go wrong either way. I definitely think a point guard would help them because even when they lost to Denver, what you saw kind of toward the end is that they didn't really have a guy to kind of keep it together or in those kind of clutch moments or those moments where you really need to play. Now, when Kawhi is firing, he's having a good game, he could kind of get you a basket if you need it, but he got to kind of go hard to do it. They don't get it within like a play or a system or this, that, and the third. So I do think them getting a point guard that at least could play make, and then they keep Pat Bev for certain defensive matchups or things like that. I definitely think it will make them a better team.
I agree. Hollister?
I agree with everything you guys said. I will say I think Rondo would be the better fit because his IQ is out of this world. He will look how well he meshed. Look how well he played when he came back for the Lakers. He got LeBron and AD. He got crazy assists with those guys. I think he could also do the same thing with Kawhi and Paul George as well too. Plus, he could also get the other guys involved as well too. Because Rondo is just a smart player all around. Chris Paul will be good too, but I think Rondo will click better. Because I think him and Kawhi, they kind of like they don't really say much. They just do their job and keep going.
Yeah.
I think that's why they would be a better fit. Chris Paul and Kawhi, they'll probably get clash, and Paul George, I don't know. But I think Rondo would be the better one to fit with the whole system and with Ty Lue as well too. And Rondo played with a bunch of superstars: LeBron, AD, Jimmy Butler, KG, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce. So he's been around, so he knows what it takes, to win and get everybody else better and get them involved in the game, even when everybody's having a bad one.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, my only thing, I understand what Tom was saying as far as Rondo, and I like Rondo. He used to be on the Celtics. I like him. But the thing that I agree with the Chris Paul thing with you guys is that at the end of the day, if you have somebody like a Chris Paul, you mainly need Chris Paul for the leadership. Now, Rondo, as though he's like one of like the top basketball minds there, the consensus is Rondo is an a-hole. Like even he said the reason why him and DeMarcus Cousins got along well is because they both a-holes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if that's the case, you already know that you don't want to make it more difficult for Ty Lue to be like, you know what? Here's this guy that I have, and I got to deal with him and the rest of his attitude and the guys on the team and et cetera and et cetera. Not trying to say he'll give them a hard time, but he gave Doc a hard time, and he's probably definitely gonna give Ty Lue a hard time. So that's the only issue I have as far as with the CP3 thing. No, I'm not trying to say in a bad way that Rondo will
Remember,
to do that.
No. What I was saying is you're saying that he may give Ty Lue a hard time, but Ty Lue knows him. Remember, he was assistant on Boston when Rondo was there, so it's not like he's not familiar with Rondo.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think it'll be that bad.
I mean, I get it, but I'm looking at it from this perspective, where it's like with the other guys on the team. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird dynamic. I do agree with you as far as the age. You know what I mean? Rondo's a lot younger. His IQ is if not better or just as good as Chris Paul. As far as those things concerned, he doesn't really necessarily need the ball, so that's kind of good, to have. He's a little bit more durable than Chris Paul, so I get it. But I just feel that, to me, I know that
that's kind of
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was going to say that's kind of a toss up because Rondo does get hurt a lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, like, he usually get hurt like breaking a thumb or some crap like that. Whereas Chris Paul his knees shattered and hamstring on his so it's always like leg issues with him. So
that's a big issue. Though.
And then
Rondo,
when the playoffs come,
when Rondo gets hurt, he be out for weeks, man.
Yeah, but then when Rondo's in the playoff Rondo, you get championships.
Exactly, and that's why you should pick Rondo over Chris Paul.
And I mean, when Chris Paul's going back, it's like, to me, it's like, I mean, I get it with the White. The White got back in there because he was at the stage where he didn't get a chance. People was just forgetting about him. But like Chris Paul, like, all right, they traded you, then you're gonna come back. It's kind of dumb. But speaking of tradement and movement, we're going to talk about Daryl Morey real quick, and then we kind of like this is going to be like more of a free-spirited thing, so we don't necessarily got to be like waiting each other for the turn. But Daryl Morey, I believe that's his name, he resigned, and there was a lot of rumors going around with speculation that should Houston Rockets kind of blow it up, trade like Harden or trade Westbrook. Then there's rumors that Westbrook gonna go to New York, and I had to have a conversation with one of my friends who's like a big Knicks fan. Like, yo, if you go to New York, then what? They're not gonna be winning anything. You're gonna stifle the growth of the other players that's on the team and on the Knicks. And then at the end of the day, even if you were to fight for an AC, like then what? You're gonna get bumped first round anyway. So Russell Westbrook to me doesn't have that kind of like cliche anymore, like he once had when he first was there. That to be a guy that galvanized a team and lead a team to anything but a first round appearance. So there's a lot of things going on with that team. Besides them getting another coach, who knows? Maybe the guy got rid of him because maybe they want Jeff Van Gundy, and Jeff Van Gundy's like, look, man, if I'm coming here, I got to be GM too. You know what I'm saying? I got to be president of basketball. I want the Popovich treatment. So you never know. So maybe that's what's going on. Like, I don't know, but I just find it weird that they're talking about that. And, what do you guys think on that?
I honestly think that team reached their ceiling. I think that's why Daryl Morey stepped down, because he probably realized like we can't really add no more assets to the team because they probably don't have enough cap space. You got Harden on the max contract. You still got Westbrook's big contract, and then who else you going to sign? You can't really trade much. You don't really have that much draft picks. You got rid of Clint Capella. When they did that, that's when everything really went downhill. They're gonna have to blow the whole team up, and I think Daryl Morey stepped down because he knew he was gonna get fired at some point coming up. But I think they're really in a screwed situation. Like they're gonna have to start everything all over. They're gonna have to either trade both Harden and Westbrook or one or the other. But the question is to where.
Yeah, I mean, look, as far as James Harden is concerned, that's could be an easy sell, but you're gonna have to give up a lot for James Harden. Because James Harden, despite the fact that he threw his little dribble, they call it Charles Barkley and whatever, he is a productive player. He actually stepped it up on the defensive side this year. He's still productive, and in the right system and with the right set of guys, I think he'll be successful. My issue is with the Westbrook part. Like Westbrook, he's still a talented guy, top player in the league, but he's not a guy that I feel that you can build a team around and that you're going to win. And the more and more he keeps playing the way he's been playing and fighting with kids and people in the audience as the players are focusing on the game, you see why Kevin Durant made the decision to leave. And people want to make fun of Kevin Durant, like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But I can understand. He could say what he want to say, like, oh, it was never about Russell Westbrook. But we all know it was. And no disrespect to Russ, not that he wasn't his boy, but you realize sometimes you can't win with certain people. Like, yo, this guy is too much in himself or too,
Exactly.
angry and like, oh, I gotta do everything, blah, 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 you know what I mean? And not really thinking about the end goal, which is to win and making the proper sacrifices to win a game. So I feel that is the main issue with the Houston Rockets. So if anything, they probably would trade Russell Westbrook. I think they was just trying to try it to have a dynamic duo to see how that's going to plan out, but it didn't work. And I think that's probably might be the move. Melanie?
Yeah. So one thing I would say, I'll give Daryl Morey his credit. In certain ways, he was largely responsible. Even I know it does annoy a lot of people, but really having success with a predominantly analytics approach and leaning toward the 3-pointers, and he would try to build personnel for those kind of different strategies. Even with the small ball thing that they implemented this year, it didn't work out that well, but if you look at what he did as a GM over the last couple of years, so he was instrumental in them getting Harden, which put that franchise back on after McGrady and Yao declined, left, etc.
Mhm.
Then he tried different pairings. He was able to pull off getting Dwight Howard there, right? It didn't really work out, but they were still a competitive team and they were better than they were before, right? When that didn't work, he was able to figure out something to get Chris Paul. And honestly, I think they gave up on that Chris Paul pairing with the Capella, that team, too early. They had the 73-9 Warriors, right? 3-2. And then Chris Paul got hurt. If he didn't get hurt, they could have had a chance to actually win the championship. But then the next year, it didn't go as well. And then Harden and Paul's relationship did sour some, so they moved on. He was able to pull off a trade to get Westbrook. Once again, this thing worked out perfectly, but they still made it to the conference final. I mean, they pretty much
Barely.
lost to whoever won pretty much most of those years. So
Yeah.
as much as they didn't get the ultimate goal and have that certain level of success, they did accomplish something and a lot. And but to what Hollis was speaking to somewhat, I think that with D'Antoni resigning, with other changes, I feel like they want to go in another direction. And Maury kind of felt or sensed that. And with the changes going on around him, he probably figured, you know what, let me just get out of here and
Yeah.
do this. Because depending on who they bring in, they could have a different system or a voice or something that might not buy into some of his ideas or tactics. And I think the owner was probably a little tight, because I know he was tight at him from that whole China joint where he made the comment, when it was the Hong Kong and China thing was happening.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, and then with them losing and stuff, he probably was like, you know what, it's time to move on.
Yeah. Tyrone?
Yeah, my take on Daryl Morey is total opposite of Menelik's. He had to go. He did a horrible job, if you ask me. it was a horrible job.
Horrible.
You guys have horrible.
Terrible.
You guys know how I talk about this guy, man. When this layup and 3-point shot, like, I wish we could do a watch along where we just watch a Rockets game and describe everything that goes on. They play some of the dumbest basketball I ever watched in my life. I mean, I've watched guys on a break, fast break, 3-on-1 fast break, 3-on-1 fast break, and they'll be like 10, 15, like 5, 8 feet from the basket. Let me not say 10, 15, 5, 8 feet from and kick it out for a 3. Mind you, they're on a 3-1 break. I've watched these guys dribble, like your boy James Harden, have an open shot and kick it out for 3. Like, I don't get it. I think they ruined a lot of those players' careers because they got so caught up in doing that whole 3-point shot layup thing. I don't think some of these guys could really revert back to what they used to be. And yes, he did bring Dwight Howard in, Daryl Morey. He did bring in Chris Paul. But the dumbest thing he could have done was, and I say it to all of you guys, Clint Capella. You traded now. Don't get me wrong. Clint Capella. Now, who knows what could have happened when the bubble happened? But when they traded him, he never played a game yet for the Hawks before the pandemic. But who knows? All the months off, he probably would have played and everything. So, how do you play in the Western Conference when you have Yusef Nurkic, Hassan Whiteside, Nikola Jokic, Anthony Davis, and Steven Adams? You have all. Now, they did beat the Thunder, so I give them that. Rudy Gobert. And you're going to, in the playoffs now, regular season is one thing, but in the playoffs, you're going to match them. You're going to match PJ Tucker up with them. That's not happening, man. That's not happening at all. I don't get it. You don't do that in the playoffs. Regular season is one thing. You couldn't dust Tyson Chandler off for about 6-7 minutes. Like, come on. Anthony Davis was having fun against the Rockets. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
You thought you was beating. You thought you was beating the LA Lakers and the best big man in the game, who I've been saying was the best big man in the game for years now. You're going to beat the best big man in the game with PJ Tucker? I thought the writing was on the wall from the jump. Tillman Fertitta, again, like Steve Ballmer, he inherited Morley, D'Antoni. He wanted to fire D'Antoni, I think, 2 years ago when the Warriors – was it the Warriors?
Yeah, watch them.
It was either that, I think
with all them threes they shot.
Within they beat them with three games to 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the 3 games to 2 thing. Also, don't forget, the Spurs knocked the Rockets out, I think the year before that, without Kawhi Leonard in Houston. So a lot of things built up for that. And, they had to get rid of the Chris Paul salary, which they did. They did a good job. I mean, listen, again, it's like the Rondo Paul thing. You're switching for a younger player in Russell Westbrook. Now, he may be a little more erratic. He's not as efficient as Chris Paul. But, you got a little younger. But then you go and trade Clint Capella, who was really promising, really putting in. That's why they let Dwight go, because Clint Capella was backing up Dwight, and
Yeah.
they wanted to use this guy. And then they had just gave him the contract, so I didn't understand it. But they went all in on this small ball, this micro ball, and it was backfired. I knew this was going to be. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I thought they had a chance against LA because of the way they, but when you really break down the playoffs, that's not a playoff built team. And I thought the writing was on the wall with him when they did that. It was Tillman Fertitta said, "All right, we're gonna try it your way. It better work because y'all out of here." I think like y'all said, I forgot. I don't know if it was Menelik or Michael that said it, where till Morley was like, "You know what? I'm done with this. I don't want to be here no more." Honestly, I think if they didn't quit fast enough, Tillman was going to get rid of them anyway. D'Antoni was done. I know he resigned and all that, but I think he did that. I think he did that a couple of days later, so he get that free plane ride back from Orlando to Houston. That way, you know what I'm saying? Like, he made sure he got that plane ride back to Houston. So
luxury plane.
D'Antoni was done. So him talking about he resigned and please, man, you were done. Morley, I mean, it was kind of surprising with Morley because it happened weeks later, but I thought he would have been done too. But I think Tillman Fertitta probably likes him and wanted to give him another chance, and he had seniority there. He was there for 13 seasons, so he probably wanted to give him another chance. But
yeah,
I think he would have got rid of both of them anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think the main thing. Yeah, Houston is finished. I think what happened was they looked at it. They came close a couple of times. They had the talent. They spent the money. You know what I mean? They tried the analytics. Like they said, Mike D'Antoni will get you in a regular season and do a lot of good things in a regular season. He'll have you do running gun offense, barely any defense. But at the end of the day, that's not what that team needs. And I think by them trading Capella, going away from playing big, like you said, they playing the Lakers. The Lakers have a plethora of big men, and you're going to try to do this small ball, and you acting like your small guards and your small players were super athletic and an all-time scorer. You had two main people who score. That's it. And once they locked up James Harden and Russell Westbrook hitting them bricks, it's like it didn't make any difference either way. TJ Tucker was getting barbecue chicken filleted, everything down there in the post. And he was always complaining to the ref, like, "Damn, what the F, man? Damn, hurting me." You know what I'm saying? All that stuff like that. So to me, it's like, look, man, you saw the writing on the wall. And I think that my personal belief is that they really want Jeff Van Gundy to coach that team.
Yo, my bad, man. Okay. I was trying to unmute myself. Did you just say barbecue chicken fillet, man?
Barbecue chicken fillet, whatever you want to call it. Man.
I was cracking up trying to respond to that on the phone.
So my thing with them clowns, bro, is like they looked at it from this perspective. I think purposely, not purposely, I think D'Antoni knew he was done because the guy didn't sign him up. He said, "Look, man, I give you a year. Depending on how deep you make in the playoff, you get extra money." So he already knew that. All right, the guy doing me this way, I'm gonna leave it. He figured like I have suitors. I can go to Philly. You know, he had it made until Doc swooped in and took that Philly job, right? So now you gotta go coach Indiana most likely. So he already knew he was out. So like you said, he quit to get that free ride back home and say, "I'm gonna do it before they get me go. I'm gonna walk out." But we already know he's gonna get fired regardless. So it's like a little fake ego, sparing.
Yeah. That's all that was.
When it went to as far as Daryl Morey, like Malik has said, they went the analytical approach. They looked at it and they're like, "Look, this is not winning us any games. Here it is. We got the Lakers constructed the way they constructed. We had Golden State who was constructed the way it constructed, and they had won championships. Here we are trying to go to these analytics. We getting washed. We're not winning. We're doing the same old. It doesn't make any difference. We got these guys on out there. We spent all this money. It's time for them to go." And I also think that maybe a Jeff Van Gundy. If I'm Jeff Van Gundy, I'm like, look, I've been here before. I coached you guys before. Yes, a new ownership, but if I'm going to be here, I need more than just being coaching. And a lot of coaches trying to do that leverage. Like, I need more than that. I just don't want to be a coach anymore. I want to be able to have
be in charge of personnel.
I want to be in charge of personnel. I want to be able to be in charge of like who I want to get drafted on this team because I think we can make it better. And if I can do that, you got yourself a deal. And I think that's probably what they were doing. They probably went to more like Maury. He had the possibility to get Jeff. And he want, president of basketball, probably GM responsibilities, and he ain't really like your style. So, it's been real. We thank you for your service, but you got to go. You can say how you can spin it, how you want to spin it. but it's over. And I think that's what it is because honestly speaking, that's saying that that's why Ty Lue didn't take the Lakers job. They was like, oh, you could come to the Lakers, but we're gonna pick
your staff.
Like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So he's like, I'm not gonna go there. And you give me less money. No, I'd rather go to I want. So I do hope Jeff Van Gundy do get the opportunity. I'm not gonna even mention Mark Jackson's name anymore because we already know that he blackballed.
Nah, he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit.
No, I'm not trying to say
like
the Rockets, but I think
he would have been perfect for the Knicks or the Nets job.
Yeah, and now I think even like Stan Van Gundy, they said he's gonna be like the number one suitor for the Pelicans. But my thing is that look, man, at the end of the day,
I wouldn't put Mark. I wouldn't put Mark in New Orleans either.
No, not
Stan Van Gundy.
Stan Van Gundy.
No. I know you said Stan, but I'm pretty sure you were gonna say, man, Mark should have got a shot in New Orleans. I don't feel.
No, I wouldn't have said that either.
Mark, I think Mark Jackson should go to a team that's like a rebuild. He don't deserve to go to a rebuild.
A young team.
He's done it. He's done it. He's done it already. He's proven he could win with a. He's proven that he could take a team. Mm-hmm. And I think, and for the sake of for the fact that he's been blackballed, he deserves to go coach a ready-made team that just needed a little extra something, you know.
Yeah, I agree to that extent, but at the same time, when you have to go, you have to do what you have to do. So at the end of the day, if he has to go to a team that's a startup again and really show that, look, I can do this, and do what I did. And I granted, like what they did to him in Golden State was kind of messed up, but it was a lot more going on behind the scenes than just the coaching. But he was there to make the influential picks, help them like pick certain people. The only thing they said that he didn't do was start Draymond Green over David Lee. And at the time when David Lee was actually nice, David Lee,
David Lee was better.
So it wasn't like to say he was not like David Lee was like a bum and Draymond Green was way better. It's just that Draymond Green was able to do his thing because of the fact he was surrounded by assassins at the wing. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, man, I don't really care about the Rockets like that. But you know, you don't figure it out, they don't figure it out. My thing is that, like I said, this whole coaching dynamic now has been changed to like, I want you to be my friend. I want you to tell me I'm doing a good job. Don't criticize me, but do that. So I'm hoping that with the Nets that they figured it out, because I had this argument with one of my boys too. I was like, look, man, I think the Nets, their culture's already established. He said, what culture? Like they even play with KD or Kyrie. I said, look, they play a little bit with Kyrie. They did play in practice, yes, but I said the culture's already there. So that's the reason why they went.
It's just Durant didn't play yet.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the reason why they went to the team. So you can't say there's no culture there. There's culture. They just have to, like, you know, fit in now. That's it. So I mean, we'll see what happens, man. I really do hope that things go well this season. I'm looking forward for the season to start. I know it's not going to start until like December
or January
maybe, but you know, I'm just hyped and I just want to see some good basketball. I do hope that proper people get into the jobs that they need to get into, and that's it. Do you guys have anything else y'all would like to speak on?
Gary Payton looking into getting the coaching now. He want to get a shot.
Now that's a guy. Now that guy right there.
Yeah,
he needs something.
Yeah,
he could definitely help these young guys.
Now that boy, that man right there, he could coach.
But you see,
I know he could coach.
With that, like, see the problem with Gary Payton though, with his coaching, especially with these cats being so soft,
it's like curse at them too much. And
but guess what? He has a resume.
Yeah, but
he can get in your face.
No, but a lot of kids got a resume, but it don't matter.
Not coaching wise, but
he said he want to be like an assistant or like, you know, start off like that.
No, that's fine. Because you got to be like, listen, man, I'm mother effing Gary Payton.
But like Michael said, these young guys,
he'll get in that, and he'll get in your face.
Yeah, he'll do that, and then right after the practice.
but Mike, Mike, in reality, right? What player has the resume that they think they could get Gary Payton fired if he was a coach?
Nah, look,
you're gonna tell. Listen,
I'm
a diehard Bulls fan, but you think Zach LaVine could get Gary Payton fired if he was a coach? Hell no. Hell no.
No, because Zach LaVine's not there yet. But you think Gary Payton go to a team like this? They say, you know, screw it, we're gonna hire Gary Payton to coach the Pelicans. And then Zion's like, you know, I don't like the way he was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a good guy, and you know, you know what? Come my 7th year, I'm not resigning. And they're like, well, you know what I'm saying? I'm out. You know, they're gonna be on him.
I don't look at Zion as the type of guy that'll be an egomaniac.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about some other people, because you know Zach LaVine had the issue with Boylan. That's why I brought his name up.
Yeah, but
you know, guys that have coaching issues with coaches.
Yeah, but
it's what I'm thinking about.
He had a legitimate reason. But my thing, look, the ways of the old school coach, because even Mark Jackson was similar, maybe not as vulgar as Gary Payton, but he was a hard nosed coach, held his guys accountable. The problem with the younger generation, like you see, it's just like how we raise our kids, right? We grew up in a household, our parents are from the West Indies. We grew up in a household where licks was a thing that was, utilized as
can you clarify what licks is?
Well, I think most people know like licks like in a spanking, but it wasn't like to say we got spanking for everything, like with a belt or whatever.
Cut your tail.
But our parents, they utilized different tools to discipline us. So sometimes mom would take our video game system. My dad would do the same thing, or sometimes we just got to get licks because licks is the only answer, right? But if you look at some modern day parents, right, they don't believe in like that kind of like quote unquote corporal punishment where they discipline their kid. They want to have a conversation with the kid. They want to teach them certain things. They want to go on the
tablet.
So
to cut you off there, that's more because they got these stupid laws now where they're trying to cut down on that and they're gonna take your kids. That's probably the main reason why you hear.
I get that because it was like that in the past, but it's more prevalent now. But what also is the case is that, for instance, right, a lot of people look at it like this, where it's like some people feel like, and I have friends who got licks, but they got abused. But you know what I'm saying? Like we never got abused by.
Oh, it's a difference. It's a difference. You're right.
But some people say like, even the sense of licks is like more of a traumatizing type of thing, where it's like, oh, the kid didn't get an opportunity to express themselves, or you're not letting them like live, so you kind of like stifling that growth. To me, I have mixed feelings about that because sometimes there's certain instances where I knew I was growing up where my parents and them might have wilded us and gave us licks without even really hearing out the situation, and then it's like, yo, man, you could have just paid attention to that. But we
listen, 95% of the time we freaking deserved it, man. Yeah.
Sometimes you jumped over and you hit Puff. I mean, Hollister over the head.
We're not gonna get into our personal. We're not gonna get personal here. We're getting off the subject now.
But you get what I'm saying.
Childhood beatings.
Yeah. I mean, look, man, we all got it. We all got it. And I mean,
let's stay on the subject.
Yeah, let's stay on the subject.
You gotta bring up that same crap with me, man.
I'd say this to say, right? It's like, look at it from this perspective, right? It's like, look. Most people nowadays, especially this younger generation, they're more about positive influence, right? You got kids now who are getting trophies for coming in second place or getting trophies just for participating.
That's a joke.
So nobody can feel left out because all of this kind of like, and I don't want to get too caught up in this. I'm not going to say my full piece about it, but all this whole kind of like, they all got to get a chance and make them feel better. Like, at the end of the day, it's okay to have winners or losers, but you teach people how to win gracefully and you teach people how to lose gracefully as well. But the problem is that a lot of parents, they're helicopter parents, they kid grew up that way. Now you got young kids going to all these AAU programs. Like back in the day, had like maybe like 3 AAU programs in the city. Yeah. Now you got like 300. You know what I'm saying? You got to compete and cats get on the AAU team, and then they get told like, oh, you could be the man, and then like they start looking at it like I don't really need to listen to my coach. So you grow up that way, and then you get to these old school hard-nosed guys who grew up in the NBA, had those hard coaches like Bobby Knight and all them other cats like that, and then all of a sudden now they try to carry that same mantle with their new guys. The guys get upset. They're hitting the general manager like, yo, man, this guy talking me crazy. And now they know their power. So I'm happy for the players to have that power and have that ability to be like, you know what? I'm not going to take a certain level of abuse or this kind of wilding out. But where is the accountability? There's some people don't want to be held accountable. That kind of goes back full circle to the Clippers thing, where it's like these guys getting mad and acting like prima donnas, but they're not holding themselves accountable for their own actions of what they've done. Like Lou Williams and hold himself accountable for going to get ribs. Not ribs.
Man, that's some good wings. Yo, listen, man.
Strip club.
I'm thinking about chicken wings right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Earlier.
You better stop playing.
I know, right?
Don't be insulting Chicken Lou about them wings, man. I'm thinking about some wings right now.
Yeah, but at least you got nothing going on right now. He got a freaking playoff series that he's gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna get these wings from the strip club, take a picture with a rapper, and be like, yo. Oh, that was like years ago. And then like, a couple of months ago, you got the freaking NBA freaking COVID mask on in the picture.
What messed them up was that?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But even so, it's like, you got to think about it from the perspective. They were so egotistical that they didn't even think that they was going to lose. They're like, yo, we got Kawhi. I'm nice. Everybody nice. We going to make it, son. And then we going to play the Lakers. And then what happened? They got bumped.
Making fun of Dame.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So to me, that's what I'm talking about, the accountability.
Did you also hear Jared Dudley did an interview and said that the whole Lakers team was laughing at the Clippers when they blew the 3-1 lead?
Of course, I would laugh at them.
And we're laughing at them in their hotel rooms
because they were talking about how they were supposed to be like the next one up, and they battled LA and all that, and they got washed. Of course,
I could imagine how they would how funny it was when way off P hit that backboard, man. That's probably the funniest miss I ever seen in basketball, man. A wide open.
You can imagine the
He
clenching
was wide open.
Son, he hit that brick like that's probably trying to shoot. He was so nervous, and then not only that, I can imagine it like this. I don't know if y'all, we've been to the hotels in Disney, and I've been to the Grand Floridian, and I believe that the top players are there. I can imagine him looking out the window when the Clippers getting on the bus to head back to the airport, like bye, waving at them from the window while they on the monorail going back to the freaking airport.
Listen, man,
I'd have been laughing.
I know. I know, man.
I'd come outside when they leaving. I'm like, yo, y'all going already? Damn, son. Y'all ain't get a chance to leave, unwind, and think about your loss. Well, see you guys next year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have rubbed it in, to be honest with you.
You already saw McCollum and Dame was rubbing it in.
Yeah, because I don't blame them either.
They was the first ones on social media talking.
Yeah,
I think Dame and LeBron did an interview, but I ain't watch it yet.
Yeah,
they did like on Dame's show, and LeBron was on his show, but I didn't really catch it yet. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
the Clippers came up in that talk.
And these cats, you know who's also like kind of like low key, kind of like savage, not really savage, but low key, like not petty, but kind of like don't forget Steph Curry. Cause remember when Utah lost, right? 3-1. He had the receipts when Donovan Mitchell was like, oh, how you lose a 3-1 lead to like when they lost to Cleveland. And then like your boy Steph Curry posted that. It's like, yo, it hits different, only, right? You know what he said? Something on those lines.
It hit different.
It different when you're about it, right? You know what I'm saying? And then people won't forget. And I like that kind of competitiveness. You know what I mean?
Watch these boys next year.
Yeah, and I heard they're gonna try to go
Warrior. Watch these boys next. They forgot about them. They forgetting about them. You know, Max Kellerman, Stephen A. They started to talk about them a little bit. Because people forgot about them.
Stephen A. said the Lakers gonna have to deal with them to get back to the finals.
Yeah,
I personally think they're a contender even if they don't make a move. Like I think Wiggins could fit in, and I think with the second pick they'll probably take Wiseman, the big man, which is something they need. And don't forget those kids that they had playing when Steph and Clay was out. They got some reps, man.
Jordan Poole, that other dude, that big
Pascal,
dude. Him.
These guys. What's the other guy's name? It was another kid on the team.
That bald dude, that bald head.
Not Marquise Chris, but it's the other kid.
The guy who married to
Lee.
Married to Curry's sister.
Oh, Damon Lee or something like that.
Damian Lee or something. But I think some of them got traded to Philly, right? Or was that just Glenn Robinson Jr.? Okay. So but you got to look at that, man. Like those guys got some reps. So and one thing about Golden State is one of the reasons why, and I know we'll probably get into this talk later also with great NBA champion teams. They always had a weak bench. Their benches were never strong. They had a strong starting lineup, but their bench was always weak. And I think this can help them. But we'll see, man, because, boy.
They got Kyle Bowman. He was putting in work.
Listen, man.
I look at it like this, right? You look at it, because I was having this discussion even the other day when we was talking about who going to make it in the East, who going to make it in the West. You look at the East, right? You know the Nets going to be in it.
Damn right.
Boston. Boston, right? Who else? Maybe Indiana, Toronto, Miami,
Philly.
Milwaukee, Philly. Like that already is like almost 8 teams. Where's the Knicks going to fit in if they were to get to where to get your boy? You know what I'm saying? Then you got Westbrook. Then you got like Portland.
The Knicks?
Yeah, because then people talk about
the Knicks in that conversation.
No. Because what happened was like that, I remember I mentioned it earlier, but they were saying that I had one of my boys like, oh, the rumors that they might get Westbrook. I'm like, look, the Knicks doing the same thing that Knicks do. Try to get a name. Don't care about
that would be a classic Knicks move. If they did get him. And once again, I do like Westbrook, even though I know he's definitely with the issues they have and the issues that he has as a player, sometimes getting a team to win. He might put some more butts in the seat, but that would be a classic Knicks move.
But Menelik, you're saying that it's a classic Knicks move and they put butts in the seat. They already sell out. with the bums they got.
Well, yeah, but
And imagine him and Thibodeau clashing. Westbrook, they ain't gonna work out.
That's what, and not even that.
Tom,
What
Thibodeau
but
gonna have a heart attack.
it's COVID. There's nobody in the arena.
that too.
But they gonna put more people watching it on TV. Like we already watching the games.
The virtual fans.
No fans, yeah.
He gonna yell at the virtual fans. That's what I'm saying. Like when Lucas, he one of my boys, I'm gonna mention his name. When Lucas posted that thing in the group chat that we have at the work group chat, I'm like, yo, bro, like who
cares?
Like who cares? Like
still ain't gonna win nothing.
And not going to do anything else. Like, he said, the rivalry between the Knicks and the Nets gonna be good because of KD.
Wait,
like, what? Right, exactly. It's like, yo, even Kel was like, Kel was like, yo, what rivalry? Like the Nets got a squad, like the Knicks don't got nobody. Like who they got?
Listen though, right?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
but listen though, right? But Mike,
yeah.
They have to trade players for him.
Yes, but they will probably have to.
Who are you keeping?
They can't keep nobody. They're gonna have to either trade Mitchell
and the Rockets are gonna want Barrett. You're not keeping him.
Yes,
because you have nothing else. You think what you gonna give up?
Kevin Knox,
Julius Randle?
Yeah.
No,
they gotta get rid of him though. They have to get rid of him.
But he's not coming there to Houston in a Westbrook deal.
Yeah, they're not.
He's not coming. He's not coming in a Westbrook deal.
And Westbrook
unless to match the contracts, but you can't do that.
Go out there.
I mean, we can sit here and try to come up with trade packages for them, but
we're going shit. Ain't gonna.
We'll take a whole episode to figure it out because their team is trash.
Still ain't gonna figure it out.
Shout out to Taj Gibson because he's the only Nick I like. I love him from Chicago. But other than that, the rest of them is trash, man.
And my thing with the
Dennis
Knicks,
Smith Jr.
Yeah, my thing with the Knicks, he had a bad deal. I think he could have played a little bit better. They actually put confidence in him. My thing with the Knicks is that you got the Leon Rose, you got West, you got all these other cats, but the main caveat is the fact that James Dolan is still at the helm. And most players don't want to go there. And now with the advent of like social media and guys still getting their paper with these endorsement deals, so you don't got to necessarily go play the Garden. The Garden doesn't have that same ring it used to have back in the day when we were growing up. And everybody wanted to play there. Now, don't get me wrong. Like players like LeBron and them still like to play.
I ain't want to play there.
No, not play there, but play at the Garden. Like people like LeBron like to play at the Garden. But at the end of the day,
I love watching Mike play there.
Yeah, like my thing is that look, what's the point of like this whole situation? Like to me, it's like the Knicks need to hold the course, build it up there in the draft, work with what you have, make some smart moves, and that's it. You don't need to get a Westbrook. He's not going to be the guy that's going to set you over the top. He's not going to do it. It's a Knick move. I love it. If you were going like a Chris Paul, that to me makes more sense because Chris Paul actually took the Oklahoma City Thunder and made them a decent team. I'm not trying to. That's a waste. That's a waste of Chris Paul's time, and I don't even like Chris Paul. No, but I'm trying to say, but as far as his, let's be honest, man. Even I feel bad for Chris Paul. And they talk about even bringing back Melo. There's a lot of stuff going on. Unless Chris Paul, right? Oh Jesus! Chris Paul is most likely not going to get a championship. What? Unless he goes to like Lakers. I mean, look. Unless he goes, Melo loves Portland. He ain't going nowhere. No, they're the only team in the NBA that wanted him. Yeah, but he'll go back to New York. He'll definitely go back to New York.
Especially they trying to get LaMelo Ball. They trying to get that second pick.
What he gonna do?
He's not going. He's not going back.
Stupid.
LaMelo Ball.
They're gonna try to trade up. They're gonna try to trade.
Be mad dumb.
Who they try to trade? Who are they going to trade with? Charlotte is not giving up. Look, I think he's going to Charlotte.
Who?
I think Mike is going to take him. LaMelo Ball.
LaMelo
at 3.
Maybe.
I think LaMelo Ball is going number 3 to Chicago.
He might.
Unless the Timberwolves shock everybody and don't take Anthony Edwards. Because Golden State is going to take the big man unless they trade it. If they trade the pick, if they don't trade the pick, they're taking Wiseman.
Yeah.
They're not taking LaMelo Ball. They don't need him. Minnesota doesn't really need him, but I don't know how they're going to this D'Angelo Russell situation and then Cat wants to leave Minnesota, so
he do.
I don't know.
Yeah, he said he wanted to go. He said
according to
and all that crying he did to get D'Angelo Russell did.
But they want him and Russell to get traded to like the Suns so they can play with Devin Booker.
Yeah, they want to play with Booker. They want to play with Booker. So
had Jimmy Butler, you ain't do nothing.
So I think Minnesota might take Edwards. I think Wiseman goes to the Warriors and LaMelo goes to Charlotte. But if the Knicks are gonna go up, they got to go up to 3 or 2, and they don't have nothing the Warriors want. I mean, Mitchell Robinson, he's all right. He looks like one of those guys that just puts up numbers on a bad team. And if you're not giving up Barrett, you're not going up that high. I'm sorry, I don't know.
But even with Barrett, I feel bad for him. He didn't really get to really shine last year. So I mean, he's gonna be a work in progress. But at the end of the day, I think that like you said, they don't have anything. They just need to just hold on to what they have, work in the draft, do it the old-fashioned way, build a culture like how the Nets did, and then from that point on, they'll be able to like lure other free agents. Because at the moment, right now, the whole like wishing for this player, wishing for that player, and wishing for these things to happen to make them relevant is stupid.
Look, they're talking about Giannis too.
Yeah, I heard about that, but Giannis ain't going nowhere.
I think the only way people gonna start to go to the Knicks James Dolan is gone because nobody want to play for him.
Exactly.
I think the only team that Giannis would go to,
Miami and Golden
other
State.
than staying in Milwaukee, is Miami and Golden State. If it ain't those two teams, he's staying in Milwaukee. He ain't going to no Knicks.
Giannis want to win.
But the Knicks are eyeing him. They're eyeing him. They want him badly, but we'll see.
He ain't going there.
That's another year for that.
Yeah, I mean,
who's that? What's the name of the guy that's in charge of the Knicks now? Not Rose, the other guy, the music guy.
Steve
Stout.
Yeah, Steve Stout.
Like, come on, man! Like y'all hiring musicians, like musical people in your front office now because they think that will get stars to come there.
Because they trying to help them with their brand, and so they have a guy for their brand. Like nobody cares about that.
Mike, like you see that, right? Yeah. Look what the Los Angeles Lakers did. They hired a freaking agent in Rob Pelinka. He's an agent.
But the least with that, he's still in regards in that basketball kind of fray. Whereas like you get a musician who probably
but that's the point
make the Black album, and then here you go like, yo, man, like Russ.
But yeah,
we get you in the music game. Like, who cares? Like,
but what the hell the Knicks need to do? What they need to make money? They the number one franchise value-wise, $4.6 billion.
But not even about making money. What they trying to do is trying to be hip to the kids. You ever see people like do some dumb stuff like that? Well, you're gonna be hip to the kids. We're gonna lure them. We're gonna bring them here by showing them this kind of thing. And like, we hip. We got rappers. We got all the different things. Like, like, look, you can have all the names you want. Like so Hollister just said, and like I said earlier. If you don't get rid of James Dolan,
nobody coming in.
Then if you don't get rid of James Dolan, nobody is going to come because he is the reason why everybody don't want to admit it. Kevin Durant didn't come because of him. What he was saying, I need to do the medical and all the stuff like that, and all the other players who wanted to come there. He see how he treated their old players. He probably remember players talk. We don't hear everything that the players go through with the ownership. Nobody knew about David Sterling or Donald Sterling, what was going on with the Clippers until he got caught on tape with his ex.
That person.
You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for that nobody knew. Like, you think Blake Griffin was talking about how he had him at the party doing this cookie? Get away from there. Nobody heard nothing about it. So only the players will know because they're in that circle. So with that being said, we don't even know half of James Dolan's foolishness. And at the end of the day, the Knicks, they need to just follow the blueprint. I know they don't like to look at the Nets and they want to be that's our rivals. What the Nets have done. The Nets have built a culture there. They went with the environment. They with the people. They listened to the noise. They changed the colors. They did certain things. They people like, I want to see the old net jerseys back. They're bringing it back. They're listening to the fan base. They're giving the people what they want. Whereas the Knicks, like, you take it or leave it. This is what you have. If you don't like it, we'll get somebody else to fill these seats because we're the Knicks. And they was riding on the coattails of their franchise name for too long. They didn't invest in it, and then now they suffering. So you can think about getting Giannis. They can think about getting Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Find out.
Because there's gonna be rumors about that too. They're gonna say, we're about to pair up Michael and Larry and Magic.
You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, it ain't gonna happen. Like, my thing is that at the end of the day, it's way deeper for them what they got to get done. And until they decide to actually do the right thing, and
you don't laugh at them.
They're doing the right thing to me because I love it.
But yeah, man, I mean, unless you guys got anything else, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, we're good.
Next week is that episode.
Yeah, next week, guys, we're gonna talk about finally the GOAT talk. We're gonna mention our piece I know we should have talked about it a little earlier, but there's a lot of stuff that's going on. We're gonna try to present you guys with our top 10 players of all time that we like. Obviously, for all of us, most y'all know Michael Jordan gonna be number one on that list, but I'm pretty sure our list will deviate from like maybe the first 5 or so, and we'll go into that and try to have our backup. I know Tyrone has been salivating for this topic for a long time, and he's more of like the statistic type of guy, statistician when it comes to these things. So I know he's gonna have a lot to say about that. And we're gonna finally touch on that topic, and stay tuned for next week. And then also we're gonna touch into that Khabib versus Gaethje fight as well. We want to thank you guys again for watching. We really do appreciate the support. I was able to share this about our last episode with some friends of mine, and they enjoyed it and they thought it was dope that we were doing this. And we're only going to get better from here. Like I said, please give us feedback. Let us know if you like it. If you didn't like it, just tell us what we can do to improve and give us some topics that we can talk about. I want to shout out Holliston, Menelik, and Tyrone again for coming through and sitting down for an hour and some change that we do these episodes for, and to really just get to talk and vibe on that level. So we do appreciate you guys. Don't forget to vote. Voting is coming up. Don't forget to do it. Don't feel it's not important. It's very important. And don't be discouraged if your person doesn't win. Who else you vote for? Just utilize that vote, and also know you got to vote for all offices, not just presidential, but all facets of voting. And again, like I said, thank you guys again for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And God bless.